The sky burned red over the battlefield. Smoke rose from the blackened ground, and the sound of broken machines echoed across the valley. Human soldier Eric moved slowly through the wreckage, his rifle lowered, his uniform torn. His squad was gone. His radio crackled, but no voice came through. He was alone. Just an hour ago, everything had been calm. Eric had been sent as part of a peacekeeping escort. They were meant to protect a small human outpost near the alien borders. The royalty of the Valari species, tall, pale-skinned beings with advanced technology, had agreed to a visit. A fragile peace was forming after years of war. But then, something exploded. Someone fired first. Now Eric was trapped deep in enemy territory, or what humans still called enemy territory. He tried not to think of it that way. He had read about the Valari. Some said they were cruel. Others said they were misunderstood. But none of that mattered now. He had to survive. As he passed a burning Valari transport, he heard movement. Soft, quick steps. Not human. Eric ducked behind a wrecked drone, heart pounding. He raised his weapon carefully. If it was a scout or drone, he'd have to run. He had no more ammo to waste. Then he saw her. A young woman, tall and striking, stepped from the shadows. Her silver armor glinted in the fading light, untouched by the fire. Her long white blonde hair was braided neatly. A crown rested gently on her head, simple but beautiful. Her eyes bright as starlight met his. She wasn't carrying a weapon. For a moment, neither of them moved. Eric's fingers stayed on the trigger, but he didn't shoot. She didn't run. "You are human?" she asked softly, her voice calm but curious. Her accent was strange, her words formal. He blinked. "Yeah," he said. "And you're not going to shoot me?" She tilted her head. "I could ask you the same." Eric lowered the gun. "Fair enough." She stepped closer, carefully. "I am Princess Varel of House Silith. You are lost." "Yeah," Eric said, his voice dry. "I figured that out." There was a pause, then a small smile touched her lips. It surprised him. "You're not like the others," she said. "Most humans don't crack jokes when they're surrounded by fire." He muttered, "I did not mean your humor. I meant your eyes. You look honest." Eric didn't know what to say to that. "You should not be out here," she added. "If my guards find you, they will not ask questions." "I'll take my chances," Eric replied. "No," she said. More firmly, "You will come with me," Eric frowned. "Why would I do that?" "Because I can keep you safe, for now." He hesitated. "You're serious?" "I do not joke. At least, not like you." Eric looked around. Fire, smoke ash. He had no food, no backup. Maybe trusting a royal alien girl wasn't the dumbest thing he could do today. "All right," he said. "Lead the way, Your Highness." She gave him a sharp look. "Don't call me that." "Okay. How about Princess Sweetie?" She stopped walking. "What does that mean?" He grinned. "It's a human word. A soft one." Her lips twitched. "Then I shall call you darling." Eric laughed. For the first time in days, he laughed. That made her smile fully. It was a soft, warm smile that didn't match the cold metal world around them. As they walked through the smoking hills together, she stayed close, her armor gleaming. She moved like someone used to command, but without arrogance. He noticed how she kept glancing at him, as if curious. She asked simple questions about Earth, about humans, about things like laughter and rain. Eric answered as best he could. He didn't understand why she was so calm, or why she was helping him. But something in her voice, in her eyes, made him trust her, and she never treated him like a prisoner, more like a guest. Night fell. They reached a hidden chamber deep in the mountain cliffs, an old Valari shelter. The walls hummed with soft blue light. Varel led him inside, then sealed the entrance. "You will rest here," she said. "And tomorrow I will decide what to do with you." That sounds kind of ominous. "Ominous?" Scary. She looked puzzled, then smirked. Then sleep. With one eye open, darling, he gave her a mock salute. Yes, princess sweetie. She rolled her eyes, but her smile didn't fade. As Eric lay down on the strange glowing bed, he realized something strange. He wasn't scared, not of her. Not anymore. Something was happening here, something unexpected, and he wasn't sure yet if it was war or the beginning of something else. Eric woke to the soft sound of alien wind outside the shelter. The glowing blue lights on the walls had dimmed during the night, and now the room felt quiet, peaceful, almost too peaceful. He sat up, rubbing his neck. The bed was strange, soft but cold. Not exactly comfortable, but better than sleeping in a crater. He turned his head and saw her. Princess Varel was already awake, standing by a control panel. Her long hair hung loosely down her back, and her silver armor reflected the soft light. She wasn't speaking, just staring at the glowing screen in front of her. He cleared his throat. Morning, princess sweetie. She turned, one eyebrow raised. You survived the night. You sound disappointed. I'm not. She stepped closer, her eyes watching him. You slept without fear. That's rare. I've had worse nights, Eric said, pulling on his boots. Besides, you didn't seem like the type to stab someone in their sleep. Varel didn't respond right away. Instead, she sat on a smooth stone bench across from him and folded her hands in her lap. You are curious, she said. I get that a lot. No, she corrected. I mean, you're kind. You fight, but you ask questions. You fear us, but you joke. You come here with guns, yet you still look at stars like they mean something. Eric shrugged. We're complicated. Too complicated, she murmured. That is why our council fears you. Yeah, well, half of our side thinks you're planning to take over everything. She smiled faintly. Are we? I don't. No, Eric said. But you don't seem like someone who wants to destroy Earth. Her expression grew serious. I want peace. I've seen what war does. I lost 2 brothers and a sister. I'm sorry, Eric said quietly. So am I, she replied. But my people don't listen to sorrow. They listen to strength. There was a silence between them, filled only by the soft hum of the shelter's walls. Then Varel stood. We cannot stay here long, she said. I need to move. If we are seen together, you will be taken. And I will be questioned, Eric frowned. You're risking a lot for me. She gave a small nod. Maybe too much. He looked at her. Really looked at her. She was strong, royal, sharp-eyed and graceful. But under the armor, he saw something else, a loneliness. A quiet fear that no one on her side would understand what she was doing. Why me? He asked softly. She turned to face him. Because when I spoke, you listened. And when I teased you, you laughed. Eric couldn't help but smile. You started it. You called me darling. I only followed your language. Her voice was light now, playful. Well, Eric said, walking beside her, we humans like to tease, especially people we're interested in. She blinked. Interested? You'll figure it out, he said, trying not to grin. They left the shelter, moving into the deep valley shadows. Smoke still drifted in the distance, and broken ships littered the cliffs. Varel led him through secret paths carved into the mountainside old Velari trails used only by scouts. Twice they had to hide as drones flew overhead. Once, Eric slipped on a narrow ledge, and Varel caught his wrist quickly, her grip firm but warm. Careful, she warned, holding him. Steady. If you fall, I won't jump after you. You sure? He asked. I thought you liked me. She looked down at their hands, still touching. Then she slowly released him. I don't know what I like yet. They reached a small outpost hidden under thick vines. It looked abandoned, but Varel moved confidently, scanning her wrist over a locked door. It opened with a soft hiss. Inside, it was cooler, darker, more secure. There is food here. She She said, "Water and answers." "Answers?" Eric asked. She sat at a terminal and began pulling up files. Strange symbols danced across the screen, but she translated as she worked. My brother had doubts. Before he died, he believed someone inside our own court was pushing the war, feeding both sides lies. Eric stepped closer. "You think the peace talks were a trap?" "I don't think," she said. "I know." She pulled up a file. It showed images of a tall alien with pale violet eyes and a sharp robe. "High Lord Sethran. He wants to be king. And he hates humans. He started the fight?" Eric asked. "He made it look like you did." Eric stared at the screen, stunned. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because someone has to know," Varel said, "and right now. You're the only one I can trust." Their eyes met. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Eric reached out and touched her hand. "I'm with you," he said. She didn't pull away. The outpost was quiet, but Princess Varel didn't rest. She stayed at the terminal, her fingers dancing across the glowing screen, pulling files faster than Eric could read. He leaned against the cold wall, watching her work. She looked calm, but her eyes told a different story, focused, worried, maybe even afraid. Eric stepped closer. "You said your brother had doubts. You mean he was killed because he wanted peace?" She didn't look up. "He asked too many questions, then he vanished. His ship exploded during a training run, but I found his private logs. They were buried inside this system." She opened a file. A voice played, calm, deep, and full of concern. "If Sethran finds out I've spoken to the humans directly, he'll act. The war must not continue. I believe the humans want peace as much as we do." Eric felt something twist inside him. "So your brother tried to stop all this?" He said, double quotes, "Yes. And now it's my turn," Varel whispered. Before Eric could speak, the screen flashed red. "A warning. Incoming transport," Varel said. "Small, fast, not one of ours. Yours or mine?" Eric asked. "Neither. Sethran's private scouts." Eric reached for his rifle out of habit, even though it had no charge left. "Do they know we're here?" "No," she said. "But if they scan the outpost and find 2 life signs, we're both finished." Varel shut down the system. "We have to move, now." They ran. The outpost door closed behind them just as a small black ship appeared over the trees, scanning with red beams. Varel led Eric down a hidden path. It was narrow, winding between cliffs and moss-covered rocks. Branches scraped against his arms, but they didn't stop. After half an hour of climbing, they reached a cave hidden deep and cool inside. Varel touched a stone panel on the wall. The lights glowed faintly. "Another Valari shelter. Do all of you have secret hideouts?" Eric asked, trying to catch his breath. "Only the clever ones," she replied. He laughed. "Then I'm glad I got stuck with you." Varel didn't answer at first. She sat down and pulled off her metal gloves, rubbing her temples. Her breathing was uneven. "You okay?" Eric asked. "I'm tired. I've been holding this alone for too long." "You're not alone anymore." She looked up at him. "I barely know you." "True," he said. "But you saved me, twice. And I'm still here, joking with the woman who could have handed me over." "That's something." She watched him for a long moment. Then she nodded once. "You're strange, human. I get that a lot." Later, they sat together on the floor. Eric shared one of the nutrient bars from his torn backpack. Varel offered him a silver fruit from her belt pouch. It tasted sweet, like honey and lemon dot in the quiet of the cave, with no alarms or smoke or soldiers. Eric looked at her and said, "You know, this would be romantic if we weren't being hunted." She gave him a sideways look. "Is this another tease? Maybe. You humans flirt in strange ways." "You aliens blush in strange ways," Eric teased. Noticing the slight pink in her cheeks, Varel touched her face and looked away. "I am not blushing." "Sure. They sat in silence again. But now it wasn't awkward. It was soft, easy. Her shoulder touched his slightly, and she didn't move away. Finally she said, "Tomorrow, we go to the council chamber." "What?" "I still have access. I can enter the royal tower. I can expose Setharin. If I show them what I found, they might listen." "Might?" "My mother is queen. She listens to reason sometimes. But Setharin has many ears in the court. And if we walk in together?" Eric asked. "A human and a princess?" She nodded. "It will be dangerous." He looked at her seriously. "Then we do it together." She turned her head slowly, staring into his eyes. "You would follow me into the lion's mouth?" He smirked. "If the lion looked like you, yeah." For the first time she laughed soft, real, and warm. It was short, but Eric felt proud of it. She touched his hand lightly. "Thank you, darling." Eric froze, then smiled wide. "Now who's teasing?" "Rest," she said, standing. "Tomorrow we face the storm." Eric lay back against the wall, heart still racing, not from fear, but from something else. Trust, connection. And the feeling that somehow this alien princess might matter more to him than the war ever did. The next day began early. A cold wind blew across the cliffs as Princess Varel and Eric stood at the edge of the canyon. Below them, in the green valley, the royal city shimmered with light. Tall silver towers rose above glowing trees. Everything looked clean, perfect, and quiet. But Eric knew danger hid inside that peace. "This is your capital?" he whispered. Virl nodded. "Yes, the core of our world. No weapons allowed past the gates, not even mine." Eric looked down at his empty rifle. "Then I guess I'm already ready." They followed a path only royals used, a narrow bridge, hidden behind thick vines and cliffs. Varel wore her crown again, polished and shining. And she walked with her back straight. As they reached the tall entrance arch, glowing guards stepped forward. The guards saluted. "Princess Varel, you were thought missing." "I traveled under orders," she said calmly. "Now open the gate." "I must speak with my mother." They hesitated, glancing at Eric. "And the human?" "He is under my protection." One guard raised an eyebrow but said nothing. The gate opened slowly. Inside, the city felt strange to Eric, too quiet. People watched him from balconies and floating paths. Their eyes followed him with suspicion. No one smiled. Varel whispered, "Don't speak unless I ask you to. Even words can be twisted here." Eric nodded, staying close. The royal tower stood in the city's center. It was tall, built of crystal and metal. They passed through silent halls, and strange alien servants bowed low before Varel. But when they looked at Eric, their eyes narrowed. Finally, the giant silver doors opened to the royal chamber. Queen Alientha sat on a high throne, surrounded by advisors and nobles. She wore long white robes, her silver eyes shining like cold moons. The moment she saw Varel, she stood. "Daughter," the queen said, voice calm but sharp, "you vanished during the attack." "I found the truth behind the attack," Varel answered, "and I brought a witness." Eric stepped forward. Whispers filled the room. Nobles stirred, shocked to see a human standing beside the princess. The queen raised her hand. "Explain." Varel walked to the center. Her voice was strong. "The battle at the border was no accident. It was a plan made by High Lord Setharin." Ripple moved through the chamber. Some advisors gasped. Others looked angry. One of them stood. "That is a heavy claim." "I have proof," Varel said. She raised her wrist and activated a holoscreen. The files appeared, glowing mid-air. The voice of her brother filled the room again, his warning about the secret meetings, the sabotage, the lies. The queen listened silently. When the message ended, she looked toward Setharin. He stood at the edge of the chamber, tall, proud, cold. "Lies," he said. The princess brings human tricks into our home. They are not lies, Varel shouted. My brother died for this. Setharin smirked. And now you bring a human into this sacred court? To speak for us? Is this how far you've fallen? The queen raised her hand. Silence fell again. Let the human speak, she said. Eric felt every eye turn to him. He took a breath and stepped forward. I didn't come here to lie, he said. I came here to survive. Your princess found me when I was alone and could have left me behind. She didn't. She showed me what you were trying to build, peace. He looked straight at Setharin. But someone wants that peace dead. I don't know your laws. I don't understand your court. But I know what war looks like. I've fought in it. And I know when someone is hiding behind it for power. There was silence again. Long, cold silence. Then Setharin raised his hand. Didn't speak to the court. Instead, his ring glowed, and two soldiers moved suddenly toward Eric, but Varel blocked them. Sword drawn. Touch him and I'll cut you down, she warned. The entire court froze. No one expected the princess to draw her blade. The queen stood. Her voice echoed through the chamber. Enough. Everyone stopped moving. Let Setharin be questioned, she ordered. And let the human remain under royal protection until the Kaggle. Truth is clear. Setharin's face did not move. But his eyes burned. Guards moved to surround him. For now, the court was still. Varel lowered her sword. Eric let out a slow breath as they left the chamber. Walking through long marble halls again, Eric whispered, That was insane. Varel smiled a little. Welcome to politics. You almost got yourself arrested. I almost got you killed. Yeah, he said, but you also almost made me proud. She glanced at him. Almost? Call me darling again, and I'll upgrade that to definitely. She didn't answer. But her smile grew wider. The palace lights were dim that night. High above the city, stars blinked in a sky too quiet. Princess Varel sat on a bench outside her quarters, staring at the stars without speaking. Eric stood nearby, watching her from the doorway. Her armor was off, and she wore a soft blue robe, simple, elegant, different from her usual royal presence. You've been quiet, Eric said gently. She didn't look away from the sky. It's not over. Even with the Queen's support. Setharin will not stop. He's in custody, Eric reminded her. His guards still serve him. His influence is strong. Some nobles still fear humans. And some hate them. Eric walked over and sat beside her. You stood up to all of them. You did everything right. And yet, she said softly, I feel like the next breath could bring war again. He looked at her for a moment. Then let me stay beside you through the storm. She turned to him, eyes full of something deeper, now fear, strength, maybe even hope. You're different, she said. Not just because you're human, but because you look at me like I'm not made of fire. He smiled. You're not. You're made of starlight and sarcasm. That made her laugh quietly. Suddenly, a sharp alarm rang out across the tower. Red lights flashed. A voice echoed. Explosion detected. South chamber breached. Unauthorized movement, emergency lockdown. Eric jumped to his feet. That's Setharin. Varel was already moving, grabbing a small blade and opening the wall panel to reveal a hidden path. This way, she said. We can't go through the main halls. If he escapes, he'll disappear into the city. We won't get another chance. They ran down the narrow passage, boots hitting metal quietly. The hidden tunnels ran through the walls of the palace built long ago for royal escape. Now they were chasing danger instead of fleeing it. Varel's voice was steady. If Setharin escapes, he'll start a false rebellion. He'll say the Queen is controlled by humans. Eric nodded. Then we stop him before that happens. The path led them to a side gate. From there, they saw the explosion's damage. A royal guard post burned, smoke rising, walls cracked. Sethran's loyal men had attacked the Watch before the court could strip him of power. He was fleeing. There, Varel whispered, pointing to a sleek black hovercraft moving toward the outer wall. He's leaving the palace. Eric looked around. We'll never catch that on foot. Varel pressed her palm to a hidden panel in the wall. A door opened, revealing a small, sleek Velari glider. Royal transport. Fast. Quiet. I hope you know how to fly it, Eric said. She smiled faintly. I hope you know how to hold on. They took off seconds later. The wind screamed past them as the city lights blurred below. Ahead, Sethran's hovercraft moved fast, but not fast enough. Varel flew like a storm, sharp turns, low swoops. Sudden dives. Eric gripped the side tightly. You do this often? He yelled over the wind. Only when I'm chasing traitors. They caught up near the cliffs outside the city. Sethran's craft turned hard toward the forest. He thought he could vanish there, but Varel fired a stun burst. His engines sparked and failed. The craft hit the ground and skidded, smoke rising. Varel landed beside it. They jumped out. Sethran crawled from the wreck, blood on his face, his long robe torn. He looked up and hissed, You think you've won? You lost the moment you lied to my mother, Varel said coldly. He stood, shaky but proud. The people will not accept a peace built by a human's voice. Eric stepped forward. Then maybe they need to hear a new kind of voice. Sethran laughed, bitter and sharp. You're nothing. Just a soft soldier with foolish eyes. Eric didn't blink. Maybe, but she trusted me, and that's what you'll never understand. Varel moved quickly, pressing a command into her wrist. A pulse of light wrapped around Sethran's body. A containment field. It's over, she said. He struggled, but the field held. As the royal guards arrived from above, Eric and Varel stood together in the wind. She turned to him. You didn't run. You didn't ask me to. She touched his arm. You've done more for my people in 2 days than some of my council did in years. I didn't do it for your people, Eric said. I did it for you. Her hand lingered on his chest. We're not finished yet, she whispered. But maybe this is a new beginning. Days passed since Sethran's arrest. The palace was calmer now, but not silent. The air buzzed with talk. Nobles argued in private rooms, guards stood alert at every gate, and messages moved faster than ever across the royal towers. The truth had been exposed, but that didn't mean everyone wanted to hear it. Eric stood on a balcony high above the city, looking down at the alien world that had nearly killed him, and strangely, saved him. Behind him, soft footsteps approached. You still hate heights? Varel asked. I don't hate them, Eric said. But I don't love standing on glass floors 1,000 feet in the air either, she smiled. You should get used to it. You're in a royal tower. I still don't get why they haven't thrown me out. You helped stop a war. He looked at her. You could have done it without me. I didn't want to, she said simply. Varel stepped beside him. Her silver robe flowed in the wind, her crown shining in the soft sun. She wasn't wearing armor anymore. She didn't need it. Not today. The Queen agreed to meet the Human Council, she told him. There will be a formal discussion, a real one. No hidden weapons, no traps. Will it hold? He asked. If both sides want peace, she said. Yes. And if they don't? She looked into his eyes. Then we keep trying. Together. A long pause followed. Eric looked away for a second, then back at her. I never expected this. Not the war, not the crash, not you. I didn't expect you either, she said. You were supposed to be an enemy. I teased you the first time we met. You called me sweetie, she smirked. A name no one's ever dared use before. And you called me darling. That was the moment I knew you were dangerous. She laughed softly. There was silence between them again, but it wasn't awkward. It felt full, like something unspoken hung between their hearts, waiting to be said. You could go home, Varel said suddenly. We've secured a transport. The humans would take you back as a hero. Eric looked down at the glowing city. I could, he said. But, she waited. He turned to face her fully. I don't want to leave something I just started to understand. I don't want to leave you. Her eyes shimmered. Not with royal pride, but with real feeling. I was afraid of you at first, she admitted. Afraid of trusting someone I wasn't supposed to care about. Afraid of laughing. Afraid of this. Eric stepped closer. I don't have a kingdom, he said, but I can offer loyalty, she smiled gently. And if I want something more than loyalty, then you'd better kiss me first. Her smile deepened. Human customs are strange. But not all bad, he whispered. Varel leaned in. Her lips brushed his soft, careful, real. When they pulled back, the wind danced between them. Eric touched her cheek. So what now? Princess Sweetie? She raised an eyebrow. Now, darling. We teach both our worlds what peace looks like. Together, they stood at the edge of the royal tower, watching two worlds prepare to heal. No more war. No more lies. Just one princess. One human. And something strong enough to change everything.